afternoon, distinguished guests, Mr. Wisinto, Vice President, NUS Development, colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Well, indeed, it is a privilege to be able to be in this forum, and I hope that at the end of this 1 hour, you will go back with a better feeling of an undefeated mind than you are now. Okay, looking at this subject, this is what I have got for you. My task is to introduce to you a model of psychological therapy that is easy to use, that all of us can use. I think the important thing is that psychological therapy must not only be just a tool of the psychologists. It should be a tool that each of us can use, at least at the front end. In the more difficult end, that's another matter. Okay, so this is what I have got as an outline. So do you have an undefeated mind? And one model to develop it, whether we don't have it, we can still develop it. And the high-end centering skills, and then make it a start and continue the journey. Okay, so do you have an undefeated mind? I suppose this is a good illustration of the things that we cope in life. So we have to meet the bulls in our life. And the moment of truth is that, are you okay? Are you all right with the resilience? And hopefully not the one that is on your left-hand side, but somebody on the right-hand side. That you push this person down, he will never fall. He always stand up again. Okay, so looking at the university, I think it's also a challenge for all of us. Can we make the university a campus network for undefeated minds? It is clear that personal resilience is important, and that is the capacity to cope with adversity and to avoid a breakdown when confronted with stresses in life. And that, of course, can be really through failure or loss, or it may be just a threat. So the threat is sometimes even worse than the real thing. So how can we get on with that kind of thing? Well, we have been thinking, and this elephant is to show you 2009. Psychological therapy certainly has become more integrated. We know more and more parts of it, that psychological therapy is not just the tail of the elephant nor the head, it's actually the whole thing. And this is the result of that kind of conceptualization, that it is really a mega model made up of different parts. I'd like to introduce to you the center portion, that is the centering skills. And here we of course have relaxation, imagery, meditation. And I put the two in red, which I'm going to talk a bit more. The idea of positive mental health, the idea of positive psychology. That if we have those two, it will help us to center better. What is centering? I'll come to that in a moment. And then if you're off-center, what do you do? Well, we've got the 3 Ps. We have the pattern work, the problem work, and the process work. They said, well, what the hell is that? Well, I'll leave Prof Goh to tell you about that. Let me get back to centering. Okay, this is the idea of centering. Just as a potter trying to create a masterpiece, he must have something that is integrated, right? Maybe it's a lump of clay on the potter's wheel, and you need the piecing together a harmony of the body, the mind, the spirit into a harmonious whole before you can tackle the piece of clay to make it into a pot, something like this. And that's the whole idea of centering. Do we have that presence, that mindfulness to be able to create that every day of our life, every minute if it's possible, and not to fall down? Okay, with that as an idea then, we can look at various things in centering. Of course, there's relaxation, imagery, meditation that we learn, and we should continue to be good at that. But to introduce to you 2 more things, the higher end stuff. And there are 3 principles I go by now. First is exposure. Secondly is to know how to develop positive mental health and how to develop positive psychology. Okay, exposure, difficult situations are not something that we look forward to, right? So this is Siam, Chinese is Siam. I suppose we should see them, but maybe not see them all the time. Sometimes it's good to go and face it, because by facing it, we develop the capacity to deal with it. What I call stealing, becomes steel, for iron to steel. Then in this process, we also need this thing called mentoring. It is important to have people that can help us, the social support, the timely advice. And each of us definitely have got mentors, so we've got to make use of them to help us get along. And there's also this idea of network, and this is where I want to throw the challenge, that can we work together, maybe create a course, an interest group, and hopefully even create a growing crucible that we can put all the success stories together, to share things with each other, and that's how we'll see. Okay, so this is the kind of formula that I'm trying to suggest. Let's get on to this positive mental health, and we start with negative mental health, mental ill health. Certainly it is a big problem in working life. As much as 2.4 weeks is lost because of depression, and about a week is lost because of stress. I'm not saying that all of us are in this boat, but certainly a proportion of our colleagues are in this kind of situation. And we also know that depression actually doubles the productivity losses. In other words, if we have no depression, no stress, able to cope, we are actually much better than what we are performing now, each of us. So something to think about, right? And the end in mind then is, hey, look, can I have positive mental health? Yes, and the idea is to have three things. Can we have emotional well-being? How do you know that you have emotional well-being? You feel satisfied. If you can agree to this statement, I'm satisfied with life, I get 5 out of 5, I say you got it. Do you have a positive psychology, psychological well-being? And you say, okay, I have direction and meaning. Do you agree with that statement? Yes, then you also got it. What about social well-being? So things I say, we're in it together. I am not afraid because there are so many of us. So that is the kind of thing that we have. Opposite to that, somebody feels lonely, there's a soul in this world that cares for him. That is negative mental health, certainly. Okay, so these are some thoughts for you to think about. So positive mental health is actually not difficult to achieve, right? Then, if you have this, then it will help you cope better. Then we move on to the next thing, the positive psychology. Positive psychology is actually trying to live the life of happiness. And apparently there are 3 lives of happiness that you can aspire to. The first one is a pleasant life. And the statement I say, I give thanks each day for the nice things in my life. I wonder how many of us do that. Perhaps if we don't, we should. Let's begin to feel happy that life is that much better because of the things that we have in our lives. We often take for granted until it's gone. They say, oh dear, it's too late. The next thing is engaged life. So do we have this kind of concept in our mind that we got strengths, we call signature strengths, right? And do we use a signature strength for the good of others? If we say, yes, I'm going to do that, I can do that, then you actually have engaged life. And if you're able to tell people, count on me, don't worry, we will make things happen, then you really have engaged life. Then lastly, meaningful life. If you contribute, you find fulfillment. Then that is the basis of meaningful life. Right? So these are some thoughts. Of course you say, well, so does it happen? Well, we'll see. It's a question of trying to think about it first. Everything that we do start with a thought. If the thought is there, things will happen. Okay, that's about what I got for you as an introduction. And so I'm going to sort of end with this slide to suggest that we make a start if you have not done so. And if you have, then continue this journey of 3 things. First is to work towards positive mental health, to count on the good things in our life and be mentally well. 2, to think about positive psychology every day. We can always think positive rather than negative. And choose to be present, choose to be engaged, and choose to do meaningful things every day of your life. And lastly, of course, something for you to think about. We are thinking of trying to start up a course, interest group. So if you're interested, maybe you could drop us a line. We can take the conversation further on. With that note, let me thank you for your attention. Thank you.